The NBA is investigating the Mavericks for sitting key players in the final 2 games of the season. The Mavericks could have gotten the final play-in seed in the Western Conference, which instead went to the Thunder. The Mavericks have one more draft pick they have to send to the New York Knicks from the Kristaps Porzingis trade, which, by the way, he's no longer with the team. He is with the Wizards. 5 out of the 6 players that have played the most minutes this season did not play against the Bulls. And Luka Doncic only played in the first quarter. The NBA could still designate the first-round pick to go to the Knicks if the Mavericks are caught for tanking. That was blatantly obvious. Luka Doncic said he could request a trade if the Mavericks don't do anything in the offseason. Luka Doncic's on his second year, 5-year, $207 million Supermax contract. Mark Cuban made a big mistake bringing Kyrie Irving here. Kyrie Irving is not planning to stay with the Mavericks. He is going to want a Supermax contract in the offseason. I don't think anybody's going to give that to him. But nevertheless, he's going to hunt. Hopefully he hunts somewhere else. Maybe he finds a way to find a hole in the ground because obviously he doesn't think the earth is flat. But he made a big mistake. And Luka Doncic and him just didn't click. Just like Kristaps Porzingis and Luka didn't click. Maybe Luka is better off being by himself, or maybe they should have signed Jalen Brunson. Nevertheless, Jalen Brunson is a Knick, and he will stay a Knick. The question is Luka Doncic going to stay a Maverick? Now, if you're a Knick fan, these are all good news. Why is this good news? And I'm not trying to stir up rumors, because that's not what I do.
No, that's Josh.
But it makes a lot of sense if Luka Doncic doesn't get the players to come to the Mavericks to play with him and he gets traded. Why wouldn't he want to go to the Knicks? Why wouldn't he want to go back and play with Jalen Brunson and a much talented younger team with a lot of draft stock?
So much draft stock, even if they do trade for somebody like Luka Doncic. The Knicks still have 8 other first-round picks, so even if they tried to trade like 4 of them to get Luka Doncic and a couple players, they still have a lot of young depth and still have a lot of young talent. And no, Mark Cuban, it is not Rick Brunson's fault that Jalen Brunson could not stay with the Dallas Mavericks. It is your fault. You didn't want to give him extra money, and now you were stuck trading for Kyrie Irving, and now apparently tanking without even trying to hide it. Sitting 5 out of 6 players is definitely not trying to hide the fact that, oh, I'm going to tank to make sure that this Mavericks pick stays top 10 so we can keep it. Yeah, okay. You didn't do a good job of that. You should get caught.
Mark Cuban is an owner that understands the game and understands the rules of the game. He's a great salesman. We've seen him on Shark Tank, and he belongs on Shark Tank. He doesn't belong running an organization or coaching an organization. If this is true, and Jason Kidd and Mark Cuban sat players at the end of the season because they wanted to get the higher draft pick, they wanted to earn their way into the top 5, top 10 in the lottery, they will be investigated, and if they are, they're going to be caught, and I believe they're going to lose that pick.
Mark Cuban is also a hypocrite, too, because he was the one that was criticizing the Chicago Bulls for doing it against the Mavericks in the 2018 season, too. And he was the one that was saying, oh, the NBA should stop tanking. Yours was way more obvious than that. The Bulls had a couple plays where they got lazy, but you also did at the end of the game. Did you know they didn't hit the rim on a 3-point shot for the final 20 seconds of that game against the Bulls?
That's ridiculous.
They airballed one. I think another one hit the top of the glass. Like, does that not present the fact that you're tanking?
You're a professional basketball team, and you're a professional owner, and you're a professional basketball coach, Jason Kidd, who is a very well-respected basketball player over the years, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game. And to have your team tank at the end of the season is an absolute embarrassment. The same team that you help win a championship with Dirk Nowitzki. So I don't know what the Mavericks are going to do if they are investigated and caught with this, but it puts a smile on a Knicks face because they can get a lottery pick on this.
Yeah.
And eventually they could trade that lottery pick for Luka Doncic. So who's better than the Knicks?
That would be a great full circle moment if they could pull that off.
It is really, really funny. I'm not making fun of the Mavericks because I feel bad for the Maverick fans, but Mark Cuban looks like the bad guy in this.
He wants to be a loan shark instead of a shark on Shark Tank.
This is not a good story for the NBA. This is not a good story for the Dallas Mavericks and that organization, and an organization that was really built up by Mark Cuban as a professional, as a guy that a lot of people want to play for. But if you're hearing stories that he has these guys not playing and choking at the end of the season, this is an embarrassment for the NBA and for the Dallas Mavericks.